The global security landscape is changing rapidly. For decades, the EU and Canada relied heavily on NATO collective defense while keeping military spending low, and the level of demands have changed rapidly, and the role that Canada plays in this global security, whether investing in major projects in defense and infrastructure, which could be necessary when challenging time comes. Have you been following the push for NATO countries to significantly increase defense spending, including the call from Trump for allies to move to 5% military spending targets? And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think there was something I was reading the other day where Canada did put a certain amount, a large amount of money for military spending. I don't think that comes solely off the fact that Trump said it. I think it's solely off the matter that there's tensions going around and we have tensions with the country right beside us. So I think that's the automatic thought of military spending. From what I know and what I read about in the army as well, too, that most of our special forces is mixed in with the United States special forces. A lot of people don't know that a lot of special cases, a lot of special missions that have been recorded throughout history, Canadians have been involved in a big way, just under American flag, under American name. So we actually don't know that. And I think a big thing is that with the way that our country is shaped, we have the opportunity to be a big force when it comes to that. I think that being prepared is very different than being active. Being prepared just means that you're defending yourself. I think that we're known around the world for being peacemakers. And with that comes a certain kind of reward. And I think that countries avoid having conflict with us. I think most of the conflict that comes us our way is because of our connections with the United States. So I think honestly, sometimes our biggest defense is when we don't agree with the United States. The other countries see that, okay, these are two separate countries. It's not one is following the other. We both have our own set of rules. We both have our own set of ideas, our own set of way of running things. And I think the biggest defense that we can spend is by letting people know that we're different. And it's okay to be different. We're different from other countries as well too. But it's to say that we have our own word. It's to say that whatever is going on with another country doesn't dictate what we have. It doesn't dictate our personality. So I think that's the way I think of it.
Do you think the pressure to spend more on defense is justified given today's global security challenges?
I think it is justified. Again, where it's allocated matters as well too. Again, you have to be prepared as much as you don't want to. This is not something that you fall behind in and just catch up tomorrow.
EU countries are increasing military budgets and rebuilding defense capacity. Do you see this as a necessary response, or do you worry it could increase tension around the world?
I wouldn't say that it would increase tensions. I want to say that it's more of they're doing it out of fright, out of fear. That's their automatic response. Also, it's to show in a way in certain countries to them, if they're not doing this, they feel weak. So this gives them strength. This gives their people strength. Some people, it's an honor to fight for the country. They don't take it lightly. So for those countries, we have to think of them differently. For in terms of EU and Canada, I think again, it goes back to whatever the country feels is necessary for them, we can respect. If we're in good peace with these countries, continuing to make good peace, continue to making these deals, it's only going to benefit them. It's only going to benefit us. And you essentially make an ally, right? You're not going to see China attack one of its trade partners that it's benefiting so much off of. People really don't understand how much we could provide for the country and how much we haven't. Even, for example, China at one point wanted to bring an oil refining company to Canada. Would have made us millions because there's so much just waiting in Canada. For example, the water, the harvesting. And I feel like making allies with those, it allows you to not have conflict with these countries. And even if it's just on the sole purpose that you have a trading partner that benefits both sides, sometimes that's good enough to avoid an all out war. So I think, again, military budget, it's good. I think it's more done out of fear because nowadays, like the attacking, like if a country were to full out attack, the world would end. So I think that it's more just a Cold War type of scenario where it's like flexing their muscles rather than actually them doing something. Obviously, the states do their own thing. But again, yeah, I think going back, the biggest way that we can come together is just by strengthening relationships.
Some argue that EU depend too much on the US for security protection. Do you think EU countries now need to take greater responsibility, for their own defense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that, US is not a scary country when other countries think of invading another country. But if you go back to looking at the war in Ukraine, Donald Trump's in office and I'm not sure if he's completely stopped it, but I know he's minimized his funding towards the Ukraine. And if you look at it, if before the war started, you would think that, oh, okay, I'm in this agreement with the United States. They're going to protect me. So if Russia invades, like, I'm good. And what's happened? Russia's invaded and now USA is backing out. So people think that, hey, USA is going to help, but USA is only going to help at the benefit of themselves. They're not helping if it doesn't benefit them. In my opinion, I see Trump rather doing a deal with Putin, doing a deal with the people that he said that he had an agreement with. So I think that, yeah, having that is, again, another scare tactic, but I don't think at the end of the day that's sustainable. And I think that together you can create that defense. And yeah, that goes with the military budget.
Canada is also facing pressure to increase military spending while managing priorities like healthcare, housing, affordability. How should Canada balance these competing demands?
I think with what comes with like affordability, you have to be able to do this without the people suffering to a great extent. Again, our job is not to work and pay taxes so we can flex our muscles when there's a better option of creating peace and working towards creating a better us, because there's no reason if you have a million trade partners that you're going to have any issues with them. So I think the military spending's good, but we're not going to be competing with a country like United States. I think again we need to remember that we're doing our own thing.
Do you think Canada has a responsibility as a NATO member to significantly increase its demand spending, even if it is going to be difficult, balancing healthcare and other affordability issues in Canada?
I mean, I think we can find our way around making it work. Again, that's what our government is for. They're supposed to get the issues and fix them. Realistically, as much as I'd like to sit here and say it's not our issue, it is our issue. But at the same time, like, these are what they're put in their positions for. They're supposed to make a bad issue into a good issue. It may take time, has to be reasonable, and they both have to be transparent with the people as well too.
Do you think Canada need major infrastructural push for it to compete globally?
100%.
You
110%.
did not hesitate to say
No,
100%.
110%. When you have this much in the country, unused land, even when you think of other provinces, like, they have population, but when you speak to the people, they maybe have like three spots. You go to Edmonton, they're like, oh, I know three spots to hang out. Where it's like, I know three spots down the street to hang out, right? So if you bring these countries to have bigger infrastructure, you also bring more, let's say, for example, celebrities that are going to bring more money because there's more people there. You're going to bring more sports. You're going to bring more everything. Like, everything, when you build that infrastructure, follows. People follow it. The money follows it. The news follows it. The everything that you need.
Projects like faster rail connection between Montreal and Toronto, expansion of the Vancouver port, new trade corridors, energy infrastructure, and transportation upgrade are being discussed. Should this type of project becomes a national priority?
I think it is. And the reason why is because we haven't taken a big step in terms of any technology in Canada. And when I say that, as in, if you look at places like China, Japan, they have these trains that are bullet trains. You go to the States, they have their subway stations. You go to Saudi Arabia, they have their own stations and how everything works in terms of transportation. Canada is not really known for anything. We're not known for having the best transportation. We're actually known for having the worst transportation. We're known for having the worst highways, the worst streets. Like, we need to have something that it gives tourists a reason to come, right? You look at CN Tower. Why do people come? They come for that. Caravana, they come for that. People got to understand that these things are also going to make money for the country as well too. Because, for example, if I were to go to Japan, I'd be like, hey, I want to try the fastest train. Like, 100%, right? Like, I want to try it, even though I don't know where I'm going. I just want to use it. I think putting that as a priority, again, you maybe be short term month two loss, but that money will all come back.
Canada has enormous natural resources, but moving goods efficiently remain a challenge. Should expanding ports, railway, trade infrastructure make Canada stronger in the global economy?
I think it makes every country stronger, opening up your ports and like even when it comes to flights, like the airlines having more airports around, that's going to also help and attract people. But yeah, opening ports is the easiest way to boost in the economy.
Major infrastructure and defense investment can cost billions of dollars. Should government spend more today to prepare for the future challenges, even if the benefits takes many years to see?
I think so, yes. When I was always grown up by my traditional parents, it was always to think, hey, I want stuff to be good for my kids. And I'm about to turn 25 and that's where my mind is, right? So you work, you hustle to so your kids have a better life. So if we got to take the hit for our kids to enjoy it, it's the same thing my parents would have done and it's probably the same thing that they felt they'd done. So I think with us, if we got to suffer a bit and they spend these billions, I think it's a good idea.
Looking ahead, should EU and Canada's strategy be strengthening NATO's commitment, deepening global partnership, or find a balance between all of this?
I think finding a balance between all of it because you don't want to just focus on one. You want to hit all of them. Again, you want to hit them all enough that people can see a significant change, not enough where people are not really seeing that change. If you were to say this, you asked me again before if it takes time. What if we have COVID tomorrow? We're going to have to take time to recover from that. And that's unplanned. So might as well take that risk, do it now. And it's the same thing as if we had a COVID tomorrow. At least this one we can control. We can tell the people. We can ask them to prepare. We can work through that. So I think having a good balance, working on all. When one falls, you still have one. So that's the way I think of it.